Hi, Pete here from Make or Repair, and today I just want to show you a quick upgrade I'm doing to my 3D printing setup. So this is my Resin 3D printer. I also have an FDM printer in another room. But anyway, before I get too involved talking about this, I want to just apologise for any sound problems. I'm going to have to dub over this, and that's because I'm not shooting my normal place, my microphone's not working very well, my camera setup isn't very good, etc, etc. So I apologise for that, but anyway, I still thought I would share this. So I've got a pair here, which are the printer on the right and the washer and curer on the left hand side, and they seem to work pretty well. The only problem that I really have is with the printer is that I'm often doing engineering type stuff, and supports and things like that are tricky, and getting stuff off the build plate can be a real problem. So I saw a review of a flexible build plate that can be fitted underneath by a company called Wham Bam, and it was a Kickstarter type funding for it, and it looked pretty good, but it's about £30 and it's not easy to get in the UK. And essentially all it is a magnetic pad that goes on the bottom of the build plate and a spring steel chrome plated sheet that then clips onto that, and then you can just take that off very, very easily. So I thought I would have a look around. First of all, I thought I might make my own, but then I thought I'd have a look around and just see if I could find an alternative, and I did. So let's have a quick look at that. So usual Amazon purchase, $14.99, so that's two magnets and two steel plates, and you can see they're 0.4mm spring steel, and there's a magnet, and I kind of crossed my fingers and hoped for the best, and they do it in a couple of different sizes on this advert, and I think some other sizes on some other adverts. So we're going to stick a pad on the bottom of the existing build plate and then put a steel plate on it, and then of course we're going to have to reset the 0 point and also re-level the plate. So make sure you do that in a sensible order for your printer to make sure you don't crack the LCD screen, of course. So I've removed the build plate and given it a wipe down, and now I'm actually giving it a really thorough clean underneath with some isopropyl alcohol just to make sure the pad is going to stick properly. Okay, and here's our packet containing two pads. A bit tightly packed, but anyway, so I'm glad to see that they've got some nice good quality 3M backing, and they appear actually to be kind of just simple stainless steel plates that are backed on both sides with a plastic protective film, and then of course, you know, they're stuck to a pad on the back, and they've got a little tab in the corner to make them easy to remove. And yeah, so let's deal with the first problem, which is sticking this on the build plate. So camera work is going to be a bit awkward here, but essentially what I like to do is just to prop up the build plate on a hard flat surface, so it's pretty much vertical, and of course then I can use the desk underneath it as a kind of guide for the magnet coming onto it. And then I put a little plate on one side to use, and essentially that gives me a nice clean corner at the bottom, and I just slide the thing that I'm sticking into that corner and just adhere it just at the start point. Now this one's turned out, because I'm wearing gloves, it's a bit awkward. It's turned out it's easier to actually sort of adhere it on the right hand side. So that's what I've done, and just sort of gradually folding it down from one end to the other, just gently. And then I'm getting the little plastic scraper, which anyone who does 3D resin printing is going to have. And I'm going to just rub that down just to make sure that it is dead flat, there are no air bubbles or anything like that. Because if it's not flat, we won't get good magnetic adhesion. So before I go any further, I'm just going to take the resin tank off, and I'll just wipe down any tiny bit of residue that's left around it, because there's always something, just to make sure every surface is absolutely spotless before I progress. Now the next thing is of course taking this plastic film off the actual piece of stainless steel, and you can kind of feel that one side is actually slightly rougher than the other way it's been punched through. It's not sharp or anything, but there's definitely a side with a slightly kind of raised edge, and there's one side with a very smooth edge, and obviously I'm going to fit the smooth edge down and it's slightly flexy, but it is just stainless steel. There's nothing special about this at all. And actually this is the part that worries me most, because this plastic is stuck really tightly, and actually it's probably best to put this on a flat surface to peel off, and peel it off really slowly. Just make sure you don't distort the plate. So as I say, just a normal stainless steel plate, and it goes onto the magnet pretty straightforwardly, and it holds on pretty tightly, but you can slide it around a little bit just to get the alignment neat and tidy before you put it onto your printer. And in practice, I've used it a few times since this video, and it clips on with the build plate in place without any problem, and just kind of a millimetre or two adjustment, dead easy. Before I actually print anything though, I'm just going to clean this down with alcohol again, just to remove any manufacturing film from it. Just want this to work perfectly, hopefully, first time. Leveling, we protect the screen using a piece of paper, which is sort of the same thickness as the sheet that's on the bottom of the tank. And I've added about 3mm to the thickness of the build plate. So I've had a look at the little screws on the side for the leveling, and there's that much sort of movement available in the plate as it stands, so I don't have to worry too much about changing the home position or anything before I do my leveling. But yeah, do make sure that you have enough leeway for this plate to move, and if needs be, you need to reset your zero about 3 or 4mm up from the LCD before you do this process, because you do not want to drive your build plate through your screen, obviously. So anyway, on this one it's just a case of undoing 4 little screws, and then we lower it down, home it, and zero it and re-screw it up again. It's pretty straightforward, really. Okay, so moment of truth. I'm going to print 6 little wire sort of spools, and we're ready to go. I think obviously just pop the resin back in, and print as normal. Now it might be that I have to adjust the first few layers, how long they are cured for, so that they stick properly to the plate, but for the moment I'm using my normal setting for this, which is a 35 seconds cure time for the first 5 layers, and then after that I think it's 1.8 seconds, because this of course is a mono printer, so it's a little bit faster than the colour LCDs. Anyway, let's see how it goes. Okay, so our build is complete. Not looking too bad. We've got a little bit of distortion on this one, but that doesn't relate to the build plate. Usual stuff to drip off. I really should put some gloves on for this bit, but I should just wipe off some of this stuff a little bit. Take a little look. Okay, so these have adhered to the build plate quite well. There's no real problem there. Not really seeing any damage. There's a few torn supports down the back there. These are bobbins for cables. These are quite a large contact area with the plate. So yeah, these would be a typical example of stuff that would stick. Now I would normally empty these into the washing basket, but I'm going to do it on here. So in theory, this plate should just lift off, and I'll pop him back on here out the way for a minute or two. So I can actually put that directly in the washer, but I'm not going to this time because I want to see what's going on. And so I'm just going to turn this plate and flex it. Let's do this corner one first. There we go. He's off. He's off. He's off. Okay, let's flex that a little more. There we go. He's off. And flex that one. Flex the other side as well. There we go. And he's off. Easy. How simple is that? Now I've just got to wipe down this plate, and we're done. So that was without the normal trauma, shall we say, that I would normally face trying to get these blessed things off. So I'm going to just chuck those in the basket and we'll give them a wash and all the usual. So that's about it. What I've started doing since doing this video is that I use both steel plates, and so I just wipe off the underside of the magnet, pop the next steel plate on and move on to the next print while I do all the cleanup on these. And I just put the extra magnetic pad to one side as a spare, just in case this one gets some damage or wears out over time. But yeah, cleanup obviously is very simple because this is just stainless steel, and yeah, we just wipe it down with some isopropyl alcohol or water, depending on what resin you're using, and you're good to go. But using 2 sheets is great. You do get a little bit of resin onto the magnetic thing, partly transferred as you take off the plate, but a few seconds is all it takes to wipe that down, and yeah, good to go for the next print. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully it gives you something to think about in terms of equipping your own printer. You can get these for FDM printers as well, and I think I might do that. But for the moment, this has certainly solved all of my problems removing prints from the build plate. So anyway, please don't forget, thumbs up, subscribe. See you next time. Take care. Bye for now.